Yeah, that's true. All right, well we're live now. Hey there, everybody. How y'all
What's going
doing?
on,
Sorry, a little
everybody?
late. We was chit chatting everything. So if you don't know by now, this is around 30. I used to do these a lot of times. I used to do it a lot. I've kind of slowed down on them, but I'm going to try to get back into them and everything. But I have a wonderful special guest with me. If you don't know this guy, I'm going to put all this stuff in the description and everything. If you, I'm sure everybody that watches me has probably watched his stuff and everything. I have Mr. RodimusPrimal with me. How are you
How's it
doing,
going,
sir?
guys?
There you go. Is it soup yet? I don't know. Well, I
It's
want to
just
tell you. I
it's
want.
time for this bad boy that KO sent.
Oh, which one? Oh, is
I
that
was
the?
I was very excited to get these guys
Oh,
right
yeah.
here,
I
and
love the colors. I love the colors on Ratchet, man. It looks
I want to
so
paint
good.
him, his hands and his waist.
Really?
His waist. I
What
do.
color?
The red.
Oh, the red. Okay.
Yeah. So like I'm gonna make him cartoon accurate, but I'm gonna
Oh.
probably do is I'm gonna like because the red it seems like the plastic is darker, so I might
Hmm.
see if I can like darken that red somehow.
Oh, I just got them right here too. Hold on a second.
All right.
Oh no, that's the barricade. Um,
I want the barricade set too,
let's
but
see.
I don't want punch and counter punch because I got punch and counter punch over there.
Yeah, I do too. So you want to color the hands and the way? Oh, okay. Gotcha. From the kind of gray, kind
Because
of grayish and
I already did it for who was it for Siege Ratchet.
see, right? Okay.
Yep. And what I did was
Yeah.
I switched out the white hands on Ratchet for Crosshairs,
Okay.
and I gave Crosshairs white hands to
Yeah.
match the Rebirth.
I wonder why they did the gray like that, though. I mean, I wonder if they should have done it purple, maybe the hands in that little area
And
right there,
darker.
purple and
Um,
everything. Hmm. Optimus Prime looks good. The Shattered Glass Prime looks really good. I need to review these, so it's really cool.
Lifeline, I want to get her out of the package. I want to find out a good paint mix
Hmm.
for her back.
Okay.
Her
Now,
green.
that's
I
a
want
good
to see
question
her
to
back
ask you.
green
How often do you customize stuff?
all
I,
the
don't- I
time.
wasn't I wasn't going to ask that question, but since you started talking about how often do you show your custom? I don't have. I've gone back to your reviews or anything. Do you show
Yeah,
your custom
yeah.
or anything?
I've customized who was it? Let's I mean gosh, I like currently right now, I mean I have RC sitting there because I did some touch up on her. I did
Okay.
touch up on Galvatron, the Titans Return
Oh.
Galvatron, because I
Okay.
switched out his head. So he's a
Oh, that
transform
new crown, the new crown or whatever thing, or
no,
the.
no, it's just a transforming head. The
Okay. Okay.
chest
Gotcha.
opens up, the head goes
Hmm.
in and
Okay.
stays in.
Nice.
And I removed the entire assembly for the headmaster unit. And the headmaster unit I
Oh.
painted fully as Megatron and stuck him in the cockpit.
Okay.
And, so he's pretty cool. And then
Okay.
I've done oh gosh, like I have so many customs that I want to do because
Hmm.
Hasbro's not giving us cartoon accuracy.
Oh, okay. So you're more a cartoon accuracy thing and everything. So okay,
Yeah,
got
especially the
that.
colors, like Cliff Jumper. I had to paint
Yeah.
his arms and his legs, so I painted
Okay.
them
Yeah.
gray.
Yeah.
And the other thing I'm going to probably do is probably do touch up on it. And then I just bought a bottle of Mod Podge.
Hmm.
I've been told that if you give a thin layer coat of Mod Podge over
Okay.
the paint, it
Hmm.
helps for the you know
To stick
to
or to.
no, so that it so it doesn't scrape off because
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
okay.
In other words,
Oh.
to make it last longer.
Oh, didn't they a third party group do? Did they do it? Somebody did a. I think it's the Red Dragon JX figures. Didn't they do their metallic whatever? Like it doesn't scratch off that well. Like it takes a lot of pressure to scratch it off or something. I think they use kind of a paint or something like that.
They probably use like a sealant, like
Okay, Larkin. Yeah, look at Larkin said a
yeah,
ceiling. Yeah, so it's really
yeah.
hard to.
From what I've been told, Mod Podge is a good sealant that
Okay,
goes over it, and
gotcha.
that's what
Okay,
like it'll give you that it'll protect the paint later on because my
right.
daughter has been playing a lot with my Megatron,
Okay,
Siege
nice.
Megatron, and she'll
Yeah,
bang it all over the place.
yeah, yeah,
And the paint ends up getting scratched off in places that
mhm,
you don't want to get paint, scratched off.
yeah.
And so I want to see how well that works because I also
Okay.
just did a head to toe, well, not really head to toe, but the arms and the legs of and the gun portion of Fire Drive. I repainted him into Fire Bolt.
Mm. Okay, nice, very nice. So yeah, now does it give a sheen or
I
something like
don't know
a
yet.
look to it? Don't
I
know.
don't know
Okay,
yet.
you
Yeah,
just you
I've been
your
told that
first.
this is
Yeah.
a thing that you should do. So I'm gonna test it on Firebolt
Okay.
and see how well he comes out, because if he doesn't turn out as good, then no
Yeah, you're
harm,
not gonna
no foul.
waste it
He's
on a.
Target Master, you
Yeah,
know.
you're not. Yeah, you could waste it on a little target match, but you don't want to try to do it
Right.
on a
Because
big
the other thing
picture
I'm
and
gonna
everything.
do is I'm gonna take apart Hot Rod into I'm gonna paint his limbs orange, the way they're supposed to be, like
Uh
instead of being
huh.
yellow.
Yeah.
Um, it's good, just got to be careful of getting too thick. So what do I do to make sure it's not too thick? I'm curious about that, Larkin.
You mix it.
um,
Do you mix it with something or?
I don't know. I
Mm.
like
There's a
I still
matte
haven't
and
opened up the
gloss.
jar yet,
Now you
and
said there is a matte and gloss version of the Mod
I
Podge.
have it's gloss. The one I have is gloss.
Okay. I guess you need to talk to Larkin because Larkin does a lot of that stuff.
He
I'm sure you've
does.
already
He
talking
does.
to and
And
everything.
he
He does
does.
some beautiful stuff.
Dude, did you see his Psylocke out of
Yeah.
I think it was RC? That was
Yeah.
awesome.
And he
That
did.
was straight awesome. And the Delta Magnus.
I love the Black Arachnia. She did Black or not Black Widow, but oh, what's her name? It was the purple and everything. It was good. I watched that one. I just recently watched that one. I think the last one. I think that might be the last one he did was the Black Arachnia and everything.
Mm.
So it was really good. I forgot what her name. I have her actually. She was a 2-pack with Universe. Crystal Widow. Okay, yeah, that's who it was. Crystal
Okay,
Widow. That
Crystal
was a
Widow.
2-pack in with
Yeah.
Universe. Okay. All right. Well, that was awesome. So let's get to the questions. All right. So how long have you been a reviewer?
Reviewer, YouTuber. I would say
YouTuber, yeah.
about five. I've been going on over 5 years now.
5 years. Okay,
Um,
nice.
Late 2015, and is when I started. The first. I think I want to pinpoint this, because I think the very very first video I put up on the channel when I first started was a Transformers Devastation game review. And
Okay, so yeah, okay.
I was gonna try and be like a mix of, like, I'm gonna talk about Transformers and I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna talk about video games. So like I did that, and then I did Who Became Cyclonus.
Oh yeah, okay,
And that
yeah.
was my very first video. And I
Nice.
learned very quickly how to, well, got a copyright claim right away.
So
And
you
I learned
learned that. That's first. That's the first.
yeah,
Now, did
and
they
how to
strike
learn
it?
how, and how to
Did they?
learn how to like get around it. And
Well,
how
did they strike it? Because, like I said, you just starting. I think you had to get 1,000 subs and everything. Did they even mess with that? Even.
back then, I think you can start monetizing at 200 subs.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, 1,000 just been recently a couple years ago.
Right,
Okay,
right, yeah. Back
gotcha.
then it was
Okay,
200, and
okay.
then and an answer. I know Larkin is doing what he's doing. It's definitely Skywarp, and the reason why, I mean, first of all, I mean, I laid out the evidence that it's Skywarp, and not only did I lay out the evidence, but also Flint Dilly directly said to me that it's
Yeah.
Skywarp. He texted me, and I still have the text message on my phone.
Oh man, he's flexing right there. He's like, yeah, I got it on. I got it
Yep.
on
So
text.
like, so all the people who still want to say it's Bombshell. He's now at a point though where people have been asking him for so many years that he's like,
He just goes with it. He's like, I don't even know.
no, he's kind of like, I already settled this. I said it was Skywarp. Do you want me to say it's Bombshell? That's his attitude
Yeah,
right now. And I
yeah.
totally, because Flint is so laid back, but if
Hmm.
you keep poking at him, he's kind of like one of those guys who's like, will flip out.
Yeah, and this fandom can kind of be assholes. Really, to be honest, I mean, it
Yeah,
is I've said it for 20 what 30 something years now. Give it a rest, okay? Just
I
just
know.
I can
Well,
understand.
it's the same fans who hate Hot Rod, so.
That is true. That is true. That's so true. But now, okay, to go off on that, so how long and everything. So now you do different, you do retrospectives and everything, which are really good. Like I said, if you haven't seen the Hot Rod one, it really, opens up. It does give some great points and everything. Definitely go check it out. I know y'all have already. Now, what got you into doing those kind of retrospectives? And you do regular reviews. You've been doing those as well. But what got you into the retrospective kind of thing on that side?
I got into the whole. I got into the whole thing. Really, was more so trying to like. I wanted to be different than other Transformers YouTubers out there. I wanted to be different because there wasn't very many Transformers YouTubers when I first started. But people were just either doing either straight toy reviews, or they were doing like, you know, they would talk about a specific topic, and I wanted to try and bring not only because when they were usually talking about the topic, they were always talking about it from the Michael Bay perspective, because it was, or the Transformers Prime perspective, because a lot of fans are younger, and so they're oblivious to G1. So I wanted to approach it from the G1 old school. You know, I'm like the old wise guy coming in, with you know, like a documentary kind of thing, like, but also to try and cover a topic that we've been talking about for years. When I started the Who Became Cyclonus, how many times did you go to TFW 2005, Sabertron.com, Allspark, or or back in the day, Toys.Transformers, and people just went, it's Skywarp, it's Thundercracker, it's Skywarp, it's Thundercracker, or Fear Whip, right? You know, Rumble is blue, Frenzy is red. What's the order for Destructicons? What's the this? What's the that? And because of that, I was like, all right, well, why don't I come up with you know, a
how-to or something?
Why don't I come up with, number one, with an answer, but also present the evidence.
Explain it out.
Explain it. Because people are arguing about it. People don't understand because people haven't watched it. People don't understand why Jetfire / became Skyfire. Why did Skyfire disappear? Jetfire and Skyfire basically disappear from the comics and the cartoon. You know, what happened with that? Why did people do that? You know, people don't understand where did Optimus Prime's trailer go? And then it turned into like, okay, well, I don't have anything continuity wise that I can cover with a character, so I'll just straight do a retrospective. So like now I've done things like Run Amok and Runabout. There isn't a lot to talk about them, right? Sunstreaker, Gears, Grapple, you know, Omega Supreme. You know, how many characters that we can do just like a straight, like, here is basically the history of the character, but I wanted to do it. I wanted it to be bigger and better with it than
a different, like an evolution thing, different than like evolution of a character.
Like, you know, because people go to, like, you know, you go to like a website like TFWiki TFWiki, you know, go to that, and it's like you have multiple continuities. Why don't I package that in a 20-minute video?
Okay.
You know, why don't I pack, 15, 20-minute video, and you get the history of that character, and you understand who that character is, and especially the G1 character. Yeah. Because I always go with the bio. I always go with the, you know, who that character is, because you know, throughout the different series that have been out there, they've changed. You know, how many characters are so different in, you know, the Dreamwave comics, how different is a character in that in comparison to, say,
to cartoon
Transformers Prime.
Yeah, that's true.
G1. But the G1 character is like that is the, you know, to me is like the importance. Because that's the legacy. Because at the end of the day, when a writer 10 years from now decides to add the G1 character, where are they going to go? They're going to come to my video. They're going to find who that, Run Amok is standing.
I know. Everything is just so dark back there. You just see that little white fellow back there.
So bright, right? But like, that one character, they're going to go back and watch my video, and they'll go, oh, so Mirage is, you know, he's homesick. You know, people think that he's a traitor because he came from money, you know, back before the war. Like, they don't trust him, but he's very trustworthy. And you understand that about the character. You understand that Omega Supreme, why he, you know, he's big, he's clunky, but he's a trustworthy bot. Like, why is Supreme not so trustworthy? Why does Megatron keep him around? Like, those kind of things, like, are things that
people want to know.
people want to know, and I want that foundation there for people. And
well, another thing about your stuff, which is really good about your stuff, is a lot of people, like, if you're just reading like the TF Wiki and stuff, you're just reading, it gets kind of boring. Now, what you do is you show pictures, you show, parts of the cartoon, and you explain it so it's more visual and more interesting. It doesn't get boring.
Yep.
Like if you're just reading all that stuff, because TF Wiki has a lot of stuff. Well, you're just sitting there reading it, you're just kind of bored. But once you have, pictures and you're explaining this and that and everything, it gets kind of fun to actually learn about a character and their origins and stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like people want to know like the origins of the character, but then they want to see how the character progressed. Like, to me, I like the character, and just going back to Mirage, because I'm just because it's Mirage is on my mind, is like Dino to me is not Mirage. I'm okay with Dino.
He's his own character. No,
he's his own character, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But the toys had to call him Mirage, or they were intending to call him Mirage. But it's like, you have a red car, and why couldn't Hot Rod be red? And why did he speak with a French accent?
No, I don't ever. Well, I mean, with some of the base verse, the character is that character, but with some of them, you're like, no, like take Wheeljack. They called what's his name? What was his? The scientist. What was his name? Golly. But anyways, they called him Wheeljack on there, but that's not Wheeljack. Come on now, that's definitely not Jack. So definitely understand that. All right, cool.
Cute. He's cute.
Yeah. Okay. Cute. Yeah. So now, which one do you like doing more? The retrospective stuff, or do you like doing a regular, just explaining a toy review?
The thing about toy reviews is that I almost feel like, because so many people I feel like do it better than I do when it comes down to toy reviews.
Oh, everybody does it better than mine. Yeah, I understand that.
So,
I definitely understand that.
I have a table here now, and I do a lot of custom work on the table, but I also got this light, and I can do I can do a review if I want.
Yeah.
When I do a review, I'm going to go into detail about it, and I feel obligated as because of my documentary style videos. And so like I have to find that balance when I'm doing a toy review. And so the thing about the mini documentary style retrospective videos, they take a lot of time.
I'm sure they do.
It takes me a lot less time to make a toy review, but because I feel like I need to explain who this character is, because people are gonna want to know, like, why is Run Amok and Run About this or that, whatever. Like, this is not the way that it is, and here is the old toy. Like, I still have to edit it together, and people have been like, I've had like one or two people asking me to, and I've recorded the video. I just haven't recorded the audio portion of it yet, because my camera, I can't get a microphone working on it. So my really good camera. So like, I could use my cell phone, but like, I have to get the cell phone data onto my computer and then edit it, and the audio is not going to sound the same as this microphone.
Oh yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll record the camera footage, and I have it all recorded, but now I have to record audio for it. And I have to put it all together for Soundwave. Like I did the Netflix Soundwave. I got him. He's a great toy, but I pulled out most of every Soundwave that I have, including the Cybertron one. The
comparisons.
One, my G1 Soundwave. I don't have Machine Wars. I don't have G2. That go that's one.
Machine Wars, you're not really missing much.
Right, but I pulled out and the Titan, not the Titans, the Bumblebee movie Soundwave, which is a redeco or remold of the Titans Return Soundwave. I have him, and I compared them. And I still have to put the video together. But to me, I'm like, I don't have as much fun doing the toy review as much as I enjoy the toys. Yeah. I do making the retrospective style videos. And I know it's a long-winded answer, but it's like
no. That was a great answer. That's what I want. That's what I want you to speak. I don't, people don't want to hear me. People don't want to listen to me. So
I'm gonna give you an example. Like that Hot Rod video, I spent 60 hours working on that video.
God, yeah, and it shows. It really shows. It really, I mean, it's really well edited. I mean, it gets to the point. You like I said before we was talking. You made out some good points, because I didn't really think about some of the stuff and everything. Especially when you were talking about having Hot Rod in the headlock and everything.
Yep.
And like, why didn't Hot Rod just blast him right there in the gut or something like that? with his side things.
Well,
He
he's
could have done that.
struggling to get free because he knows that he's trying to stop Megatron from using the gun, and
Well-
it's like, Megatron had him, and he had gotten like if you watch the whole scene, like he arm hooked.
Oh yeah, he had him in a headlock. Yeah, he had
and
him
then
in,
just pulls him up. And as he's pulling him up, think about this: Megatron's aim. He was aiming for that one spot.
Yeah, he had a good aim on that one.
And he pulls him up, and he's just like, boom! He literally was just like, boom! And he the way how quickly he was able to aim and fire that first shot, and then he wanted to make sure that he had the shot for the second and the third. So he really just went boom, boom, so when he said fall, and when he had Hot Rod in that headlock, you can see Hot Rod is struggling. He's like.
I mean, he was at the head. I mean, a little shorter than what Megatron was, but he
is much shorter. I mean, they actually got the scale right for the Studio Series 86 in comparison to the Netflix War, the War for Cybertron toy.
War for Cybertron, yeah.
If you actually compare the two sizes of the toys, that's Megatron compared to Hot Rod. So Megatron's bigger, he's stronger.
Oh yeah,
Hot Rod's inexperienced.
That's true.
And he's a young, eager teenager. He's very much like I showed in the video, Sideswipe and Sunstreaker, just jumped in without thinking.
Yeah. But Hot Rod, but he was also with the squid. It's not the same thing because he had his arms free and everything, but he was firing when he was struggling there too as well.
Hold on.
With the squid, when he said
right, yeah, he still had to the first shot he pulled his arm up and then he pulled it up to aim and then he fired, and he had to really while he was caught, he was trying to get the shot off to
Well, he had more mobility too. He had more mobility because the tentacles were just around his waist, I think.
Exactly.
So
but Megatron had.
I can understand that. He had him. He had him pinned. He had him pinned. Yeah. Definitely understand that.
And that first shot, that Megatron was able to get that shot off without a hitch.
He never hit anything in G1 before that. None of them hit anything hardly.
Your aim's improving, Megatron.
I know. Right? It's like G.I. Joe.
He would hit, Megatron. Many times you would get hit by Megatron's cannon, and you'd be like an Autobot would be damaged. If they were.
But it's funny. But then with the ship and everything, he hit Huffer in the back and everything. He's done. He annihilated Ratchet. I mean that was just Starscream shot him, Ratchet, and then he shot also Ironhide too, and then Ironhide crawled over and everything. So I mean it's just weird. All through the 3 seasons, or not 3. 2 seasons. Nobody hit anybody.
In the first 65 episodes, they couldn't kill anyone. It was the 80s.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. That's understandable. Yeah.
But they knew they were going for the movie that they were going to try and kill people. So
that freaked out everybody.
They were going to try and push the envelope a little bit because
they did.
Remember, in the 80s, He-Man couldn't use his sword to slice
that's true. No, he never.
That was not permitted on TV at the time. So. And the censors were very strict about that. But with Transformers and G.I. Joe, they were actually allowed to hit each other. That was a thing in the 80s.
Okay.
And you couldn't hit anyone. So now the show, the movie pushes that. So now you can. Mm-hmm. And season 3, I mean, gosh, I just think about this. Season 3, Optimus was was annihilated.
Yeah, he was a zombie. Yeah.
Right? Granted, they had to find a way to undo that to make him come back.
Yeah.
But you had, the Thundercats. Lino has a sword.
Yeah.
And he never actually, even though the swords clashed, you saw Mumra and Lino's clashed the swords together. They never actually slashed each other.
Right. So you never saw that.
Cut wounds. Not like with. I remember in Empire Strikes Back with the lightsabers, before the arm chop, Luke hits Vader in the shoulder and he's like, ooh,
Yeah.
And it's like I always, it always sticks out to me because it's like it's not something you see in the 80s. Like swords are yeah, the 80s, the swords were never sharpened.
Yeah, they were all dull.
Right?
Just dull
Mechanical
pieces
foot
of
soldiers
metal.
because they couldn't kill ninjas, right? So like,
Yeah.
and then that's the thing is that in Europe, they couldn't even call them Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They had to call them Hero Turtles.
Oh yeah. Oh
So,
man. That's some knowledge right there for you. I forgot all about that.
Yep.
Very nice. Very nice. Awesome. All right. Next question. Hot Rod or Rodimus? Which one do you prefer?
the reason why I mean, to me, it's the same guy, but I'm very much a Rodimus fan.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because of the growth he went through as Hot Rod becoming Rodimus Prime.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also the experience of learning to overcome your new role
Oh, okay.
as a leader.
Yeah.
It's that you're brand new, you're green around the gills as the leader. And now everyone has to follow you. You have a bigger responsibility than your predecessors did. Think about it. You're now you're now the, not only are you the leader of the Autobots in a military campaign, you're also the leader of the Autobots on an Autobot controlled Cybertron, and you have to defend Earth because for some reason the Decepticons want the Earth just as much.
Yeah, exactly.
And even though the Decepticons have been banished to Char, you now have the Quintessons as a threat. So Rodimus had bigger responsibilities. He had a lot more presidential style role, a more presidential style role. He had to be a peacekeeper between planets, having a peace conference where he had to pick up two idiots and stop them from fighting each other and beating the crap out of each other because they literally want to murder each other and blow up each other's planets. But it's actually being instigated by the Quintessons. Gee, I wonder. Modern day politics. So without actually getting into modern day politics, but like it's quite it's quite revolutionary for the third season. Like it expanded the mythos in such a way. And here Rodimus Prime, he doubts himself because he has so much more on his plate.
He has to fill the shoes. He had to fill the shoes of Optimus Prime. I mean, one of the greatest leaders of of Autobots.
He's got a bigger role to fill. I mean, I think about it now. I mean, we think about this now. People being in our 30s and our 40s and 50s, whatever, however old people are Transformers fans. I mean, I'm 39, and I'm a dad, and I gotta be a dad. I gotta be a provider for my family. I have to make sure that they have a roof over their head, that the lights stay on, that my car pays.
You have responsibility.
That's Rodimus Prime, and I'm going to say this as a Rodimus Prime fan. The thing that makes me relate to him so much is the fact that because of his self-doubt, he feels like he can't do it. I felt like I can't do it. I've been doing this YouTube thing for 5 years. I've thought about quitting multiple times.
Me too. Me too.
Off the bridge, it's, and that's why I enjoy the character so much, because I relate to him. I know what I feel. I want to go back to being young, single, and free. Right, like that's he's young, he's fast, he's turbo rev, and he jumps in head first. Rodimus has to think these things through now, but he's still just as hot headed. I mean, you think about Daniel LaRusso in Cobra Kai.
Oh, that's so good. Right?
It's the same thing. He's just as hot headed.
Yeah.
And that's
it's like I watched Cobra Kai just briefly. I mean, probably about a month. I finished season 3. I can't wait for season 4. But he had to go in this role. Like him and Johnny, they were so much alike, and they were so bullheaded. And when I'm like, all y'all have to do is work together. Y'all had the same goals in life. I think not maybe the same, but they had a lot of goals in the same life. It's like, can y'all just shut up and get together? Which they are. I mean, spoilers, but I mean that was a great comparison. That the Cobra Kai was so. I mean, the nostalgia just alone.
Oh yeah, that shows.
Oh my god, it was so good.
I've watched literally Cobra Kai now, like I think three or four times through.
Damn, it's hardcore.
And I'm actually going to watch season 3 again with my wife when she finally like, because the problem is because we have 2 small kids, we can't watch it. Kids.
Right. Yeah. It's
the language is not good for the smaller kids.
Right.
So, you know, when we finally get a chance to like sit down and watch something, we will. Like she still hasn't seen Godzilla King of the Monsters, and we still need to see that.
Oh, the new one comes out. Yeah.
Godzilla versus Kong is coming.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Yeah, I'm excited for that. Yeah, and Godzilla was really good and everything. I'm King Kong anyway, but the Cobra Kai is really good. I may have to go back and watch it again. It's just the nostalgia first of all was just so awesome, and just watching. I never got when they were fighting in the house. I'm like, who lets people come in their house and just tear up their house like that? And it was kind of weird. Some of the stuff was just kind of weird, kind of cheesy.
You let them come in my house?
I know.
My house, like I love that. That was one of my like I love that. Like when I was like Daniel, like come on, punch him. Like Grease is just such a villain, man.
So good. It's a good series. I just got done. Like I said, watching that. I don't. Have you ever watched Ozark with Jason Bateman?
No, I haven't.
On Netflix. It's pretty good. Check it out if you ever get a chance to. It's pretty good. All right. So
and just to talk about some hardcore Godzilla right here.
There you go. Golly, man.
Such an awesome movie right here. If you've never seen this one,
it's been a minute.
This is the original Japanese version, but it's on Blu-ray. So it's an American release, but the original, because the Americanized version was Godzilla in 1985.
Okay.
And but this doesn't have the Raymond Burr scenes, but this is this is just such a good movie. Like such a good Godzilla flick.
Awesome. So all right. So now I usually ask this people, I've asked people that have been on the show and everything, would you be interested in new characters for Transformers? Like after they get done with Kingdom, would you like to be like? Would you be on board if they went with like a whole new character? Forget maybe just something over in a different galaxy or something like that, and they found some more Transformers.
Well, that's what they were trying to do in 1986.
What's that?
That's what they were trying to do in 1986, and they haven't hard time doing that, right?
Well, could they do it now though?
You have to mix the old and the new. That's one of the things that Cobra Kai did right. It's one of the things Star Wars did wrong.
Okay.
Is that you when you're introducing new characters, you need to be able to introduce the new characters and follow through with the old.
Kind of match them together, kind of blend it in a little bit.
Right. One of the things I love about the 1986 film is that it introduced new characters, new leaders, but the original characters were not only there, but they remained true to who they were.
Right. Like I said, Optimus Prime. Yeah.
I said this to you offline. Optimus Prime remained Optimus Prime even into the point of, Megatron getting Hot Rod in a high headlock and blasting him.
Yeah.
Megatron remained true to who he was. And Megatron remained true to who he was as Galvatron.
Yeah.
He may have been a little bit like he might have lost his inhibitions, so to speak. Like he was now willing to kill Starscream. Right. He was now.
Could that be Unicron? Could that have been Unicron? Maybe that when he switched over to Galvatron, he was still had Megatron, but he went a little crazier. Like later on in the third season,
he lost his. I would say when Megatron was becoming Galvatron was that Galvatron was no longer held back.
So he lost his compassion. Kind of. I don't want to say. Because in the Netflix series, he had compassion a little bit. He had a lot more compassion the way he did, G1, I think.
Right. But he was Megatron on steroids.
Yeah.
Probably. Literally Megatron on steroids. That's who Megatron is. So he remained true to who he was, and even at the end of the film, first Prime, then Ultra Magnus. Now that's straight Megatron right there. Megatron is gloating about the fact that he killed Prime. He's gloating about the fact that he thought he killed Ultra Magnus. And now he's going to kill Hot Rod. Like he's so excited about the fact that he's killing Autobots. Yeah. And but it's a pity Autobots die so easily, or he might have a sense of satisfaction. And so when you think about that line, that's Galvatron. Galvatron is literally full blown Megatron.
On steroids.
But the thing is that you're introducing new characters while remaining true to the old. You're passing the torch properly, so to speak. You know,
Yeah, I think it would be harder now because they don't have any a cartoon to back it up,
right?
unless they did a cartoon or a comic. Because back then they had comics and they had cartoons to back up their thing. With now, they're so late with everything. Like Siege, was already done, and they put out the
That was.
story, the
I
cartoon.
wonder what there were multiple things that probably caused that whole.
Well, they did it with the other trilogy before that, the with the Combiner Wars and all that stuff. They were like a year later, maybe a year and a half later, and people lost interest. People just forgot about Combiner Wars and stuff. I think that's why that story, because it wasn't that bad. I mean, well, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. I'll say that back. But I think if it would have lined up with the
Prime Wars, the whole Prime Wars trilogy's frame rate was like.
Yeah. Well, I think it might have been a little better if it would have went along with the toys when they came out. It might have done. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it would have had some fiction behind the toys, like the the G1 stuff did.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like G1, look at the G1 toys when they came out. Think about just going from the perspective of the way that the way they handled the show, and they don't even say Armada. Animated Prime, not so much. And I'll explain to you why in a moment. But G1 started with the cartoon. They started with the toys and the comic book, and the cartoon was coming.
Right.
They knew it was going to take, a couple of months to get those first 3 episodes made, and they rushed to get the next 13 made. Because think about this: Transport to Oblivion, episode 4, was written in July of 1984. Was aired in October of 1984.
Wow, yeah,
the toys had already been out in April, and but back in the 80s, the toys stayed on the shelves. Yeah, that's the difference between then and now. Hasbro does waves now, so wave 1 is Black Arachnia, Warpath,
3 or 4 or something like that. Yeah,
it's like 4, and then by the time the show comes out, now you want that Black Arachnia toy, and you can't get it because it's not in the current wave.
Yeah.
Whereas with Transformers, by the time that More Than Meets the Eye aired in September of '84, those same 29 toys
were still on the shelves. Yeah.
And they'd been on the shelves since April, and they remained on the shelves in September. They were sold out by October because the show was such a hit that but they sold out so quickly, right? And you even watch if you ever watched the documentary of the FAO Schwartz did, they talked about how we can't keep these GoBots and Transformers in stock. We just every time we get them in, they sell out within minutes. The like you think Cabbage Patch Dolls was the toy of 1983. Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime was the toy of 1984.
Yeah.
You got Tickle Me Elmo nowadays. You have Furby. Optimus Prime was 1984. So you think about that, the phenomenon of Transformers. It was from the success of season 1 that they decided to make a movie, and it was April of '85 that I think that one of the first drafts came in from Ron Friedman. April of '85. So the movie came out in '86. So all the budget went into the movie, and they got 65 episodes out, and they figured that the movie might end up being the end of it. So they went, okay, well, we'll do a mini series, a 5-part mini series to cap off
5 Faces of Darkness.
5 Faces of Darkness.
Yeah, 5 Faces. Yep.
The season 2 was so big that they were like, all right, when this movie comes out, like this movie's coming out in August of '86. It's by what was it, like I want to say June or July was that the rest of season 3 was written for and went to be animated, and as late as September they were already having to send animation back to Japan and to Korea to get fixed for season 3, and they didn't have time to fix it all in September.
Wow.
So like the errors that we see in season 3, there were more, because they rushed to get the 3rd season made, and they had like you think about this Nightmare Planet. I think that episode came back
I
and
think I watched that one.
time to go back and send it back to Japan because it was a Toei episode.
Mhm.
And there are a couple of scenes in Nightmare Planet that you watch. Like, I'll give an example. Like, Springer is riding on the back of Razor Claw with a spear. They only drew the keyframes.
Yeah.
The in-betweens were not drawn. So you literally watch Springer go zip, zip, zip.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there, and they didn't have time to send it back.
That was that the season where Ultra Magnus held the Constructicons, and you had Bruticus.
That was minor, and that was the episode.
The Bruticus combiner was next to the Combaticons. That was season 3 too.
That was Toei doing that. Like, Toei was pretty bad, even that with
season miss. Okay.
Season 2, but you have and I've often defended G1 for this particular reason, is that G1, it was animated in Korea and Japan by Toei and ACOM and all those. It was written, produced, and the voice acting was done in America. So it's an American-produced cartoon. Mm-hmm. It's not. That's why I don't consider it an anime. It has an anime style because it was animated in Japan.
Japan, yeah.
But to me, it's still an American-produced cartoon. But when they did when they sent the audio tracks, the what do they call it, the slug tape, they sent it to Japan so that they can match the mouth flaps and stuff like that and get the storyboards and stuff. Yeah, they would do the animation and then they'd have to ship it. Like, there was no internet back then.
Oh no, yeah.
Right? So they had to ship
imagine if they did have internet back then.
To Japan. And then they had to get it back to America to make sure that it was done right.
Right, yeah.
And then they watched the episode and pieced together with all the sound effects and all that kind of fuss. And the sound effects are all done in America. So the sound effects have to get added on top of that.
So they had to all line up everything. Man, imagine the internet would have been back then. Oh my God.
Yeah, so like when the cartoon was done, people were like, "Oh, the cartoon has errors." And it's like, do you not know how 1980s animation was done?
Yeah, it's not like now. I mean, it's not easy. I mean, yeah, it's totally different.
Digitally, you can't just sit there and go back and hit Control-Z a million times.
Yeah, you can't hit erase and start, racing stuff and everything. And
so, like, the fact that the production was rushed as bad as it was.
Yeah.
Like I said, September.
I like season 3.
6 that were in, and they were like, we have to send this back to Japan because the animation's done. We don't have to air tomorrow. And so they just pieced what they had together and just sent it to us. And that's why Flint Dille and they said, like, if we could just go back and redo season 1 or season 3, just redo the animation.
I liked it. I thought season 3 was fine. One of my favorite College Primitives is one of my favorite episodes of all time.
You know what's funny? Call of the Primitives actually was produced by Toei, but It was an outside animation studio subcontracted by Toei in Japan. I think it was like, we don't know what animation studio it was. And but specifically Toei actually directed that episode. So
nice. I love it. It's one of my favorite episodes of all time. I'll watch that episode anytime.
But to get back to the point about like what we were talking about before, so like we're talking about where were we? Oh, new characters, right?
Yeah.
That was the whole point. With adding new characters, I'm okay with, like, I think it has to be a good mix between the two.
Yeah.
It has to be like, you're going to have some of the legacy characters around.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I'm a big proponent of continuity and maybe keeping continuity. Like, I want to go back to that G1 continuity so that we can move forward from G1. They haven't given us closure on G1. I think that's the problem. G1 hasn't been given the closure.
Yeah.
We can't move on from it. So what they do is they keep
rehashing
rebooting it. So we're going to keep on getting Optimus versus Megatron, and Starscream is always betraying him. And it's like, okay, that's fine. But if we're going to need to move on, why don't we take an existing continuity that needs it, like G1, and continue? Let's make season 4, season 5, and let's start doing some of the 87 through 88 and 89 characters.
Oh, yeah.
Needle Nose and Thunderwing and Bludgeon,
Monster Bots and
Night
stuff.
Nightbeat, and all those
Yeah.
characters, and have them come into an animated series or a series like something like that, and then bring in characters like Windblade and Victorion, and bring in some of the new characters that you want to add in here and there, so that we can expand and move forward.
Right.
Give us closure, because we're getting something that's continuing the story. And then what you do is, as you continue the story, it allows you to move forward with new characters without bastardizing the old ones.
The last ones, yeah.
And you bring in some of these new characters you slide them in.
Right. Yeah.
And then eventually you want to see more of them. I would love to see Hot Rod become Rodimus Prime again and lead the Autobots against Galvatron. And then if Galvatron gets, eradicated, then they end up seeing Thunderwing or Scorponok leading the Decepticons. Like, bring those characters. But we want to see them. Okay, like, I love 84 through 86. I do, and I always will. But I want to see them move on. Or I've often said what I think would be really awesome, and this is something I think that and Fire Talks is here he's kind of hitting on this. It's kind of a good idea. But my idea is an anthology series that bridges the gap between the last episode of season 2 and present day. Go back to some old stories with characters that needed their backstories explained, and have them now moving in the new series moving forward, and then you can move them forward with new characters.
Okay, just blend them in together and just basically.
So imagine a season that's in G1 cartoon continuity that takes place, let's say, after the rebirth, right? But before the Decepticons make their return, you start seeing a backstory that's leading up to the Decepticons' return.
Okay.
So, like, the Protectobots are talking about their origins.
Yeah. Okay.
But while they're protecting someone in the present. So have a Protectobots centered episode. Have an episode that has, maybe introduce Windblade and why she's now in bring her into the continuity. Like, bring characters like I don't know, like some of the, I don't care, like any new characters that were introduced in IDW, and I don't really care for IDW's comics, but especially the later stories. But you can bring some of those new characters in, introduce them, make them part of the mythos, but doesn't necessarily eradicate the old ones. And then something that brings in the return, so that the end of the season is the Decepticons' return.
Right.
Now,
well, didn't they do that with the comics though? With the G1 comics ended on, I think they ended in 81 or 82, and then they restarted them, and they went back and went, then they just started from where it ended.
Talking about, they did an
older
episode. They did an issue 81, the Regeneration one, but
Regeneration,
he only had 20 issues, and he had enough story for 25.
Oh, okay.
So like the last 5 issues, as much as they did this whole buildup of Hot Rod becoming Rodimus Prime, and then they start issue 95 with Rodimus, or Hot Rod is now Rodimus Prime, and he what's it called? Then he goes off to the future where he knew that it was going to end.
Yeah, I never read it. I read, I think I maybe read 1 or 2 after that, and I just lost. I didn't read the rest of them. I didn't know how much.
The last 5 issues were very rushed.
Were they? Okay.
They needed to cram a lot of stuff in.
Oh, that sucks.
Because Furman pretty much realized that as he was writing Regeneration 1, that the story actually was going to end up going to 25 issues, and he had to condense it down into 20.
Wow, that sucks.
So
that really sucks.
And that is why there is that 0 point issue. I think it is where Rodimus or Hot Rod goes into the alternate dimension to become Rodimus Prime, and then he comes back as Rodimus. And that was done because he just didn't have enough time.
Yeah, he
So
had
he
to shut it
needed
down.
his
5 of them.
spin-off issue to make it happen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That sucks.
yeah,
Oh well.
that's one thing about Furman is that Furman knows how to keep the story going and going and going
Mhm.
and going. He just
Yeah.
one thing that Furman sucks at is that he doesn't know how to make a story end.
He just wants to keep it going and going. Yeah.
Right. He doesn't know how to make a story like reach a conclusion. And every time that he ever done a conclusion for a story, it always feels like it doesn't feel right.
Still, it feels like there's something missing. Like you still have a couple more issues that he could have.
Yeah. Like
Or something
I
like
even
that.
say Matrix Quest. The way Matrix Quest ended felt like it could have gone on like for like another
Yeah.
issue.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
All right. Well, all right. Let's get back to the question. So I kind of asked some off the wall questions and about Transformers. So do you like ice cream? And if you do, what is your favorite ice cream?
If I had to say, my favorite ice cream would be mint chocolate chip,
Oh,
specifically Breyers.
okay. That's a good
Um,
brain. That's a good brain.
but it's my problem is right now is I'm trying to keep my health going. So I've been eating like a lot of the Breyers Carb Smart ice
Oh,
cream.
okay.
So it's low in sugar. So if I have sugar,
Yeah.
if I have ice cream, I'm going to have that. And
Okay.
they'll make it in like vanilla and chocolate. So,
Nice. Nice.
and I'm perfectly fine with that. So I add peanut butter.
Nice. Ooh, okay. Now, kind of go off on that. And I don't want anything to happen to you. I don't want anything bad happening, things like that. But if you had one last meal, what would that last meal be?
If I had a last meal,
Yeah,
hmm,
anything you want, and it's a full one. Whatever, like a main course. Sides and everything.
hmm, because a lot of them have been having a hard time because small businesses are having a hard time right now.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, I want a good slice of pizza from from somewhere in New York. Um,
Nice. Nice.
with meatballs
Hmm.
and and if it's not that, I would say homemade meat, like my family's homemade meatballs and homemade sauce.
Okay.
Um,
Nice.
yeah, and that would
I love New York pizza. I had it. Me and my wife went up to New York a couple years ago, and I just little. They had shops everywhere. The little stores and everything
yeah.
like that. And
In
I
New
went
York
in.
and New Jersey, there is a pizza place on every corner.
Oh yeah,
So
it
like,
was awesome. I was like,
and as good as that is, it makes you picky
yeah, that's true.
because you're like, that place isn't that good. That place is all right. This
Yeah.
place is better. This place does pretty good.
I don't remember where it was. I had a couple, but it was good. It was really good because I'm in the South, so we have different styles and everything. So,
Yeah.
all right. So, if you have any spare time, which I know you have some kids and everything, what do you like to do other than Transformers, or
Um,
customizing or anything like that?
yeah, if it's outside of the world of the Transformers, I mean, I'm big into other geeky nerdy stuff. So
Okay.
like Godzilla, Transformers, Star Wars,
Hmm.
Transformers, Nintendo, Mario.
Okay.
Like I've been decompressing from that hot rod video because, like I said, 60 hours.
That's some work right there. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's some.
make that video. Was burnt out, so to speak. There's a place across the street from my house.
That's
It's
dangerous.
funny too because we have like literally if I drive out my street, I live off a side street. So like if I go off a side street, I go on the main street over here. There's a pizza place. There are 3 pizza places within on this street. I got on the one's main street,
Yeah.
but none of them are any good. And then there's 3 more on the no 4 more on the
Golly.
like another street over, and one of them is really good. And apparently, another pizza place up where my post office box is, there is the pizza place there is actually like they actually bring the water from the city from
Oh.
so
Yeah.
you have to get like because here's the thing is like as good as like Jersey pizza is good
Hmm.
because New York style a lot of New Yorkers end up transplanting in New Jersey, but New York style, New York pizza specifically, it's the water. You gotta get the water from from the city. So what they'll do is they'll import the water to make the dough.
Yeah,
that's how you know the pizza's pretty good. So it's like imported from Brooklyn, apparently. And then it's pretty good. Brooklyn is in New York City.
Yeah, so so I say with what two blocks you have 7 pizza places?
7 pizza places, yeah.
Golly,
and that's common. Every strip mall has a pizza place and a Chinese restaurant.
Oh yeah, and our malls Chinese place, Chick-fil-A is in there usually.
Yeah,
and
Chick-fil-A there is one in town, and
right.
So like we have to.
I think that's where they started. Chick-fil-A started in the malls. I remember I think that's where their base was. That because I remember I'm in Little Rock, close to Little Rock, Arkansas, and the mall. I think the first Chick-fil-A was in the malls. I think that's where they started from, and they always had like a cheesesteak place. Like a Philly cheesesteak or something.
Well, Philly cheesesteak, it's either going to go to Philly or you're going to get somebody who comes from Philly
and
make it here.
Yeah, definitely.
You got to remember something. I also live near the Jersey Shore, so I can always go to the boardwalk and get the cheesesteaks made right on the boardwalk.
Yeah, nice.
Quite easily.
Nice.
So
very nice.
Yeah,
I love a good cheesesteak, man.
That's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why I don't, is because I have to hold myself back because there's so much good food.
Yeah, definitely. I love a good cheese.
As high tax as this state is, and as much as I would say if I move from Jersey, I miss the food. Definitely miss the food.
Awesome. All right. So, if you could have one special, either a mutant power or a special power, anything, what would you have, and why would you have it?
That's a good question.
So many. There's so many.
And it's funny too. I love Superman.
I do too. I'm not a big DC. I'm more Marvel, but I've always loved Superman. I love Christopher Reeve's Superman. I always loved Superman.
He's a man who has to keep his power under control.
Mm-hmm.
Because
he knows he can take out anything he wanted to. And it's just I've always loved Superman.
That's the thing about Superman. That's why I love the character so much. But if for me to have a power, I don't want to hurt nobody, so I don't necessarily need to be indestructible.
Yeah.
I know I would say I'm already intelligent, but maybe I'm mind reading powers. Because sometimes you know what it is. Because sometimes you start talking, and people, you don't realize that people don't want to listen to you no more.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I'm saying
always like that. No,
I'll ramble, and we've already talked for how long, right?
It's been an hour, but I'm having a great time, dude.
Right. Exactly.
I've learned a lot so far.
You said around 30 minutes, but you didn't realize we were talking to RodimusPrimal.
No. I've always that's kind of the joke of why I called it around 30 minutes, because it never goes 30 minutes. It always goes over because my guests are always so interesting, and we just sit there and we just talk about stuff. And that's what I like about that. But I just call it around 30 just to be kind of funny or something like that.
Yeah. H&E said speed, so we can we can I can put out videos faster. That would help
60 hours.
That would definitely help me monetarily if I was able to get. That's the thing. It's like I said, I put 60 hours into that hot rod video. I want to talk about other stuff. I kind of need to do a follow up to that Unicron and the Super 7 talk. Because apparently I've been hailed on it. So
okay, yeah.
So,
well, I would always. Hulk is my favorite. He's always been my favorite. I would love to have his strength and everything, and not to hurt people, but just to be strong. But Hulk has always been my favorite Marvel character. Everything. So, so now, do you have a favorite toy that you like to, like just something you can grab off the shelf? Do you have one that you're always drawn to that you like to mess around with?
I literally have a different desk spot every other day.
Okay.
So it's kind of hard. Like I'll fiddle around with, with Hot Rod, and you see running up there in the front. I'll mess around with Megatron. I'll mess around with Prime. I'll pull Ultra Magnus off the shelf, or Soundwave or whoever, and just mess around with them and transform it like multiple times, sitting on the desk while I'm like researching or typing something. And so I don't really have a particular one. I think about each one and how each one of those characters are. And it kind of helps me. Like it's almost like that puzzle. You're always fitzing with a Rubik's cube.
Oh yeah.
Minutes.
Yeah.
Like you're always fitzing with something. Like I'm always doing. It's like I'm always messing around with something. So like to me, like that's one of the why I love having so many different Transformers toys, is because you have so many
options
around with.
Options always. Okay, that's good. All right. So, we got two more questions. So, do you think Hasbro is on the decline? If so, what else do you think they could make the product better and affordable instead of going up in price, instead of maybe stay the same? Because I remember when deluxes were $8-10. That was back in 2010, around that area. Do you think that they're on the decline, and do you think that what could they do to go in, not in decline anymore?
I don't think that they're necessarily themselves on a decline.
Okay.
They had enough money to buy Entertainment One, which was a very profitable with things like Paw Patrol.
Yeah.
And they now own Death Row Records.
Yeah, but that was part of a package deal. I think
that was part of Entertainment One.
Okay. Now, but they lost. It wasn't Hasbro. Takara lost Pokemon, correct? Or was it Hasbro that lost to Pokemon?
Pokemon specifically is the Pokemon company, but they're mostly Nintendo.
Well, I thought either Takara or Hasbro had Pokemon, and they lost them.
I don't know. And they also have now just acquired Power Rangers, and they're doing the whole Legacy collection.
Yeah. Okay.
The problem with Hasbro is there are multiple reasons why. Multiple problems.
It was Takara Tomy lost. Yeah, that's what I thought. The losses.
There are multiple issues with Hasbro as of right now, and it's because they, first of all, Transformers: The Last Night was was a bankroll loss.
Bust. Yeah.
It's something that Hasbro has basically been trying to cut corners to make up the difference. So you're seeing a lot more hollow parts on figures. You're seeing less applications in places. Like, why in the world is the back of RC not painted? Why in the world is and toy is so gap, like half the toys are so gappy in places. We have to buy gap fillers, and they're making the third party market, right? And it's a double-edged sword, because they're trying to keep the cost down, and they're trying to keep the cost to consumer good. So in other words, they're trying to keep the deluxes at a $20 range, because the value of the dollar is decreasing because they're printing more money than they this is not to get into politics, but there is a problem politically speaking. When you print more money, you devalue the dollar. So you make the dollar worth less because you increase the minimum rate, rate for labor. The cost of products have to go up, and the thing is that you also then have to pull your manufacturing out of the United States and move it into another country.
Into a cheaper labor.
Where you can have sweatshops in China, but now you can't do China. So now you move to places like Vietnam or Singapore or other places, right?
Right.
So, and all of those all the manufacturing is done outside of the United States. So in order to keep the cost down, well, now they need more money. So it costs so much more money to make stuff. So like they're cutting corners. They're trying to keep the price of $19.99 for a deluxe. So they're using less plastic.
Yeah, and less paint and and stuff
Right. And then what you do is that if the cost of oil, plastic is made out of oil. If the price of a gallon of
oil goes up, it's going to cost.
Your toy is going to go up.
Exactly.
So what you don't realize is that if we start cutting jobs so people can't work, they can't afford, then what you do is you're going to cut the independence on foreign oil. Now what you're doing is you're increasing the cost of oil, and now the cost of oil increases the cost of plastic, which therefore increases the cost of your toy. So what Hasbro is trying to do is they're trying to keep business afloat while all of this political hoopla is going on that is screwing us, but yet Hasbro supports these things because they want a greener environment. But reality is that you're only making the United States greener, but you're making the rest of the world die off, right?
Yeah, I think that with all the I'm thinking that we need another Transformer movie to come out soon because I think people are wanting it. I think with maybe either Bumblebee 2 or the Beast Wars movie, whatever, because I think that would bring them back and I like that they're steering away from the Bayverse kind of. Bumblebee was still in the Bayverse, but it was kind of out of it a little bit as well. Everything, if that makes sense.
From a fictional standpoint, the problem is that Hasbro grew very attached with it is because of the death of the Bayverse, because of Transformers: The Last Night. I don't know. I just recently watched a video about Transformers: The Last Night about how pretty much it was like the bottom of the barrel from a filmmaker standpoint, because it was as if they just threw everything at the wall and see if it stuck, and the story went nowhere. And the characters,
they stuffed so much stuff.
They didn't even react with each other; they were just reacting, And it was
there were so many storylines, like you just said. There were like 4 storylines going at once. You're trying to pay attention to what was going on. Like, what is
from the box office standpoint, it was a failure, right? Because it didn't meet expectations for how much money they spent to make that movie.
Right.
And then on top of that, the toy sales were in the toilet. Transformers: The Last Night, as far as toy sales was concerned, was an abysmal failure for Hasbro. So Hasbro, because of that, went hardcore G1. So they were steered back into G1 because they were like,
that's what sells.
Where are we going to make the money? Yeah. Well, the secondary line has always been profitable. We've been doing G1 out of that second line. So let's go back and do it hardcore. War for Cybertron. Let's do it. Prime Wars was already going to be made, and it was already going to be it was already considered a secondary Transformers series because The Last Night was coming out.
Right.
And Robots in Disguise, I think, was on at the time, or Cyberverse. Well, Cyberverse hadn't come.
Cyberverse, and when did Prime come out? That was 2000. Was that 15? No, Prime wasn't. It wasn't that late, was it?
Now, I think the issue what we're seeing right now is the fact that you've split Transformers fans in 3 directions.
Okay.
You have Cyberverse on the shelf. You have the studio stuff for the Bayformers fans.
Yeah.
And then you have the stuff for the older collectors, which is the War for Cybertron.
Right.
And so there's only so much room you have on the toy shelf, and Walmart won't stock any of it. Like they'll only stock so much. So like because when Toys R Us dying, like that was another problem that ended up happening.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
It's really like a perfect storm. I don't think it's Hasbro completely. Hasbro does have something to do with it, and I do have an issue with some of the decisions that they've made. But I don't necessarily think it's completely them. I think that outside factors have hurt them, and also certain things were bad for Transformers from a brand standpoint. I would say starting around 2017.
Well, I mean, and you talk about the toys, and I think that the point is that kids nowadays don't play with toys a lot. I mean, like I said, used to the toy section was pretty big. Now you go into Target and you go into Walmart, it's one line, it's one lane, it's one line. That's all it is. And everything. So
I go to Target and it's like they've expanded the toy department in my
have they? Okay. Well, I thought kids nowadays want to go, with apps, and more, as far as games and video games.
But they've expanded the toy department, but the choices are so much more broader.
There are a lot of choices,
Marvel Legends, and a lot of these big movies have made it mainstream. So there's a lot of competition.
That's true. Okay. And I was going to mention also, like, the Bayverse, the Bayverse fans, that was back in 2007. The last night was what, 2018, I think, when it came out. So they've grown. They were teenagers, and I don't think that the people that grew up with Bayverse are as nostalgic as we are,
Well, they
like
never
we
were.
was with G1.
The people who were
Right.
making the Bayformers films that they never liked Transformers. They
Oh
made,
no, Michael Bay. Yeah, Michael Bay told it. I remember going to BotCon, and he didn't. He even mentioned. He said himself when he was accepting the Hall of Fame thing. He's like, he didn't know anything about Transformers. It was the money. That's all he did it was for
it
the
was
money.
all for the money. That's
Yeah.
straight up what it was.
And
But
you could tell. You could tell. Yeah.
but here's the thing: like, we love Transformers to the point where, like, that's like my main collection. Like, that's the thing that I'm into most.
Me too. Mhm.
But other people, they're into Nintendo. Other people are into, could be into Marvel or DC or Superman. But some people will buy a little bit of everything.
Right.
There was a point where I was trying to, like, when He-Man and Ninja Turtles was coming out back in the early 2000s. And it
Yeah.
was nostalgia craze because Transformers Armada had come out. Good God, were those toys bad?
Yeah. I could go back and look at that green constructor, the green bulldozer. What was
Scavenger.
his? Oh my
was
God,
a-
that's got to be
it's a brick.
that. Yeah, that
then
has
you
probably
get
got to be one of the.
How heavily detailed the new 2002 Ninja Turtles were, and how awesome that new He-Man was. Like, I'm sorry, I know a lot of people have a problem with He-Man, like the some people didn't like the 2002 show or 2001 show. I
Right.
liked it. I actually really dug it, and I thought that it was a really good update to the original show. But then again, I went back and watched the originals, and I was like, "Holy crap!" The original show is like, I actually really dug the original 1980s He-Man.
He-Man was my first love. Yeah, I loved He-Man. That's my first. Yeah.
It's actually good storytelling. Mind you, that you can tell how directed at kids it is in comparison. Let's say Transformers is, but He-Man was good storytelling. It's something that I think that a lot of modern stories have. The problem is that they're bankrupt. They want to capitalize on the 1980s properties.
Yeah.
And they want to bring in those 1980s properties to today and add their own spin on the same thing instead of remaining true to who they are. That's why I said Optimus Prime remained true to who he was in the 1986 film, because they want to put their own spin on it and change it instead of delivering for us. Here is what the kids in the 1980s loved this character for this reason. Why don't we bring it into the 21st century but still make that character true to who he is? Superman is a character who should never ever change from who he is, because he's a character who is beyond powerful, and he meekly holds himself back.
Yeah.
And because of his humanity. And it's a character that they want to change for the 21st century because of modern day,
it don't fit their narrative. It doesn't fit their.
And that's the problem with storytelling. And let's move on and move forward, but let's do it with a way that respects the old. But let's come up with new stuff. Let's give kids something that they enjoy. Like my kids, I mean, they did the whole new Muppet Babies thing, but my kids love Bluey. It's a cartoon about these, a family of dogs from Australia, and they love it, right? It's something new. It's something different. If you want to give them an action cartoon, let's give kids an action cartoon. I actually want to see action cartoons come back.
Oh yeah,
I want to see action cartoons come back, and I want new action heroes. They've been trying to keep these franchises alive by rebooting them instead of giving us brand new characters, brand new stories. And then if you're going to continue on with Superman, or if you're going to continue on with Optimus Prime, let's continue on with them in the same stories that they had from 20 years ago. Now the stories keep on going. Okay, you can do that with a franchise, but if you're going to come up with new stuff, let's come up with new stuff that kids can latch onto, so that in 10 years we can make a movie on it.
That's what they did with Spider-Man. The Amazing Spider-Man, because they just want to hold on to the license, and they just kept on. Like, how many origin stories do we need of Spider-Man?
How many times do
if
we
you
need to see Peter get bit by the spider?
Yeah, it's like, if you don't know by now,
it's every issue of the Spider-Man comic books.
They just kept to get that license and everything. So Man, you don't know how many times I walk into Walmart and I see the Walmart or the He-Man reissue stuff. I'm like, I want them so bad, but I
I've
can't.
only seen He-Man and Skeletor. I've only seen He-Man and Skeletor. Has there been more? Because I've heard that.
Yeah, Tila. I think they got Tila. Who else? They got the robotic guy, the robot with the you can see the inside the
I
gear.
wanted a Roboto.
Yeah.
I miss my original Roboto toy.
They got those out right now. So every time I go into Walmart, I'm just like, and my wife told me I can only have one collection, and it's Transformers, and I have a couple of NECA horror stuff and everything. But
I want to get more Godzilla stuff because I don't
I
have.
do have a NECA. I have a NECA Godzilla.
Trendmasters from back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
and that Godzilla is like this tall.
Yeah, I have I want to say a 7 inch. I think it's a NECA Godzilla because you had to, certain franchises you just have one of. Like the Turtles, you have to have a set of Turtles.
Yep.
You have to have one Godzilla, one Voltron. Most of the time you have to have that. So I saw the NECA Godzilla.
Speaking of which version? That thing about Godzilla is which version of Godzilla though?
It's the movie one. It's the movie one, the new movie one. The last one. The last one.
So you're more I really love the Heisei design, but I would venture I think Destroy All Monsters or Terror of Mechagodzilla is one of my favorites. I'm thinking of specifically of a Godzilla design that, to me, encapsulates Godzilla in a way.
Okay.
Old, new, and everything. And I think the Heisei series of Godzilla did that.
Mm-hmm.
But I absolutely love 1964 Godzilla, the one used in Godzilla versus or Mothra versus Godzilla.
They got a bunch of those NECA figures, older Godzilla, back in the day. They have tons of those.
Eyes, and he's just kind of got that weird, snout or however. And they had actually, because it got damaged in the filming of Mothra versus Godzilla, they actually had to redesign the head for Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. So, there's a little Godzilla history for you there.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about Godzilla, but I just think you have to have one to certain everything. All right, I got one more question, and then that'll be it. So, where do you see your channel in 5 years? What would you like to see your channel?
Would I like to see my channel? I would like to see growth by 5 years from now, if YouTube is still a thing. And
I think it will be. Yeah.
If YouTube is still a thing, sure. Right now I'm getting close to 80,000 subs.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well deserved.
And I want to try before the end of this year, I want to reach 100K.
Okay.
I want to reach over 100K, but I want to get. I would love, not just by amount of subscribers, but also of people watching the channel, people enjoying the content, and allowing me to continue to make it sustainable.
Okay.
And if YouTube is not going to be the thing that's going to keep me going and keep me continuing, then maybe if I'm going to continue to if I can still do these type of retrospectives, I'm going to keep doing them. I can still keep doing these toy reviews and stuff like that. I'll keep doing them. If people really like it and watch it, then I'll keep doing it. I want to be able to branch out and talk about other stuff. I'm trying to make a second channel be more. I have a second channel that I don't make content very often for. And it's because of how much time it takes me to make the Transformer stuff.
On your original, yeah.
And so it's hard for me to there are people who make videos literally every single day and they get 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,000 views within the first 24 hours.
Yeah.
And
I want that.
Have videos to be able to just keep on doing that. You know? Because then it's the sustainable thing. And all they're doing is turning on a camera. They put a news article up. They put animations of their faces on the bottom of the screen, and they're just talking over the news article. They read half of it, and then they talk about it, right? And they do that, and they make how many videos? They'll put out a video every single day, daily. Some people make 2-3 videos a day.
I used to do daily when I didn't, but now I just
can't keep
I
up.
don't.
I have a family.
Yeah.
I also want to be able to make quality content. You're not gonna watch their video 2 years from now. You know,
Yeah, that's true.
like I would love to be able to like I know like Kato saying like time to make your top 10 retrospectives on DVD and sell it. The problem with that is that then it's I think it's licensing and copyright and you know
Yeah.
I think like what was it, the Angry Video Game Nerd, like he has a DVD but he has to remove content from he had to remove from his earlier episodes, he had to remove content
Oh, okay. Yeah.
like from the DVD portion. Like you can still watch the on the original version on YouTube, but the version that's on DVD is changed, you know, from his first couple seasons because they used movie clips, and I think that the movie clips that
Yeah.
you weren't able to put it on a DVD and sell it.
Yeah.
But then I would also like I also have my merch store. I have a Teespring store. So I
I
have
did too. It never hit off. Mine.
in
I
fact,
sold a couple of shirts and that's it.
like I have this here. Is
Oh,
something that,
nice.
you know, why? Because everyone has to wear it,
Yeah.
right? So I have an Optimus Prime mask,
Well, that's cool.
and people look at me for a second when I'm in the store, and they're like, "Oh, that's cool," and then they walk off. People do that, so like they don't know what, like they're trying to figure out what it is, and they don't know if it's Optimus Prime or a Gundam, but and that's because it's based on G1. But like, you know, I use that like as my mask for the store, you know, if I'm going places, because it sucks because we all have to wear masks, but you know, at least I now have stuff. I have a Megatron one, I have an Optimus one, I think I have a Rodimus one, and I have a Galvatron one. I know I have a Grimlock one. I still have to work on the Starscream and the Soundwave one. And then I have like a
t-shirt. Starscream. I love the Starscream.
I want to do a couple of other because I have a graphic design background, so I would like to actually use some of that, like to make more merch, you know, for people to have like a T-shirt, because I have like a Megatron shirt that people love.
Yeah.
Megatron. It says that guns don't kill people. Megatron does.
Oh, Megatron does. Yeah.
And it's based on the shirt that what's his name wore, and the guy who played Jaws in the James Bond films was in Happy Gilmore.
Oh yeah, the big top. Okay, I know you're about. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so I based the shirt on that.
Okay, nice.
Where it says guns don't kill people. I do.
Yeah.
And so nice. Like I made Megatron does, and it's Megatron in gun mode.
Okay.
But it doesn't have a Decepticon symbol on it, so I don't have to worry about like.
Oh, copyright. Yeah.
Yeah.
I only have one video that I got struck on. And it was I did a overview of the Bumblebee movie. I did a trailer. I just did an overview trailer, and that's the only one I've ever had striked out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
For some reason, I just kept on playing. I kept on playing. It kept on playing, and I was talking over it, so I never stopped it.
Gotcha. Yeah. You have to like, with fair use, you have to like between like 5 and 10 seconds.
Wow.
Is like the window of how long it could be.
Yeah. Someone was struck. Oh well.
And then because it's YouTube picks up will pick up the video after that point.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. They sent me a thing and saying blah blah. So I was like, I don't know. Even it only got like 2,000 hits anyway. So I was like, I don't care, whatever. Now, if you are, we've been on for an hour and 20. Do you want to take questions from anybody else, or
I'm willing to take anybody's questions, comments.
Okay. If anybody has any questions, if anybody's left here, we got about 23 people.
Yeah, we had to think around 29 after a while, but then we kept going.
That's fine. That's my average. Like I said, if anybody's left, if y'all want to have any questions, y'all can definitely ask them, and he'll answer them if y'all want to. If y'all don't, then we can end it. That's fun. It tends to be music strike. I've never done music on videos. I don't think that. Well, actually,
copyright free music.
I started to. I thought I did. One of my first intros was like a gun, like a machine gun, and it has some like beast to it, and they struck that on me, so I had to change. That's why I now have this the pug and the my beard on the riding the pug and everything.
My actual intro, which you can tell is the Transformers theme, done as a remix, is actually done by the guy Tony. He goes by Tony Bacala on TF. Yeah. He's actually the owner of TFW 2005.
Yeah, I know him. Well, I don't know him, but I know who you're talking about.
he did his own techno beats to make the Transformers theme out of techno beats.
Oh, okay.
Way back in the day.
Okay.
And that it's actually also, if you ever watched my retro rewind video where I kind of did something along those lines, I actually
watch it.
a whole one of his songs. But he doesn't have the equipment for it anymore. And I actually talked to him in person because he lives. I think he either lives in Philly or here in Jersey.
Yeah.
I went to a local convention, and I was in Cherry Hill specifically, but like I met the guy who owns TFW 2005, and I told him, I said, hey, I'm using your theme song for my intro. He's like, that's awesome. It's just like
Cherry Hill. Is that the one at a hotel?
In Cherry Hill? Yeah.
Yeah. I went to that. That's what is that called? That's
Jersey? It's New Jersey Collectors Convention.
Yeah, I went to that one. Yeah, I went to one 2 years ago, before I think 19. Okay. I think
I used to go to it way back in the day, back when it was CyberCon.
Okay.
It's basically a small convention hall.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was one. Well, it was one big room, and they had a little section, another section of the hotel. And right when you walked in, to it, they had tables and everything to it as well.
Yeah, that's where I met Neil Kaplan, who did Optimus Prime in Robots in Disguise 2001.
Oh, okay, nice.
And I also met who else did I meet there? Was a couple other people, and it's funny too because so many people that I ended up being like didn't realize that I ended up being friends with later. That or run other conventions or have a lot of connections go to that convention, and it's such a small little convention.
It is. It really is. I had a good time. I went. I'm part of the ROC, the Rim of Collectors, and they're a big thing. They have a lot of people there and everything.
Okay.
Coast to Coast asked, have you ever done a tour video?
Have I done a tour? No. And the thing is, it's kind of hard for me to do a tour because most of my collection is in bins now. Before I was married, and my collection has grown twice the size.
Yeah, it always does. It always does.
Right around the time that I had gotten married, or when I got engaged, all of my collection was I had a huge, huge bookshelf, filled, and there was no room to spare for all the different Transformers that I had at the time. And then I got married, and they all went in bins. And I moved into a small apartment. Yeah. And when you move into a small apartment, they stay in the bins. They don't go anywhere. They on display, and then you can never get to them. And that was when that's when I started the YouTube channel, was I was living in that small apartment. And we did everything, I'd never had access to my toys, and now I have access to them. Most of them are what I have on display here is the more current stuff. Yeah. But I have easy access to my G1 stuff. I have access to the only problem is that they're still in bins. So if I still need my if I needed to pull out my Brave Maximus, that would be a problem. Because I'd have to get the stuff off of him. Yeah. Get to him. Because he's such a big boy. But I have so many bins that are filled, and this is just my Transformers stuff. In the other room, I got another storage room. I got my GI Joe, my Ninja Turtles, my He-Man, all my other stuff, and I have my video games, my vintage video game stuff. I've got a lot. I think I've got around 80 NES games and 70 Super NES games and Genesis. And,
wow, that's awesome.
Game Boy and. But I didn't collect it to collect it. I collected it because I played the games. Then you end up buying a game and it sucks, but you end up keeping it. Yeah. So you never sell it.
Like a hoarder. Like a hoarder.
I wish I still had some of the games that my NES games. Even though you can get them digitally now, the first 6 Mega Man games.
That's weird. Mega Man. Yeah.
Mega Man or the Ninja Turtles stuff. Favorite pizzas, that is all from New York. So New York pizza.
I've never had the Detroit one.
I
know Pizza Hut is doing
in the
that.
United States, the only place that pizza was made was in New York, and then everybody tried to do their own weird oddball thing once it started spreading around the country.
Yeah.
So,
I like Chicago. Chicago's now. Chicago has a lot of stuff. I
you
mean,
want
it is.
casserole or you want pizza?
Yeah, it's Jeebus. It's so thick, and the one piece you're just like, please kill me, I'm done. But it's good. I love it, but it's good. Detroit, I've never had. I think is it Pizza Hut is doing a Detroit one right now. I think, or somebody's doing a Detroit one where they pour the sauce over everything.
Yeah, the tomato pies.
I don't know. So I've never had Detroit, so I don't know for sure. I would like I said we talking earlier. I love the New York style. I thought it was
And
good.
here's the thing. I'm a firm believer. If you go into a pizza joint and they're using a rolling pin, walk out.
Oh yeah, they're not flipping it with their hands.
They're not doing it with their hands.
Yeah.
Walk out.
Well, that's pizza. That's everybody. Like Pizza Hut, they do. When I work for Pizza Hut, they just do their stuff in a machine and they just flatten it out.
Yeah. Dude, walk out.
Yeah.
It's not pizza.
Definitely.
They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I love the New York. Like I said,
It's an art.
so good. It was really good and everything.
It's got to be done right. The sauce got to be good. The crust's got to be good, and it's got to be cooked right. You got to make sure the cheese got to be.
What's your favorite topping? What's your favorite topping?
That's
Mine's pepperoni. So
I like. You know what's funny? I like pepperonis on the side. I'm gonna go for meatball.
really,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Like big old meatballs or like a small like what are you talking about? Like
you slice them up. You know.
Okay, gotcha. I gotcha. I like that. That's awesome.
But like, I mean, the only thing is like, because sausage will end up giving me heartburn.
Yeah, it does. And my wife gets heartburn a lot from like, especially Mexican food. She'll get it from eating Mexican food a lot, and I'm like, why do you eat it? It's like it's so good. I don't care. Like,
do you guys find the figures in bins get loose over time? Fire Talks was asking. No. In fact, I actually find the joints stay just as tight. The problem is that because they're in the bins, you might run into the problem of paint might end up getting scraped in places.
Yeah,
the toys are loose.
Yeah.
But
this is Beast Wars stuff.
They're trying to dig to try and find one that's in the bin because they just don't have enough space. And the other thing is like I'm at a point with my collection where I'm halfway tempted to get rid of the stuff that I don't want to keep anymore. I love the modern stuff, like the War for Cybertron stuff, because it brings me back to nostalgia, and I love the G1 stuff. I love the Beast Wars stuff. I would love to keep the Robots in Disguise stuff, but I have no connection to the. I literally have like pretty much a complete Unicron trilogy collection in a way.
I have a lot too. Yeah.
And then the Generations and Classics stuff from the yesteryear, from 2006 all the way through, when they started doing that, because I never collected the Bayformers stuff.
I got a lot of those.
I could never get into the Bayformers. I never liked the robot designs. I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah.
You sit there and say, "Oh, the toys are good." You have chrome flaking. You have that kind of problem.
Yeah, transmetal. Yeah, definitely transmetal stuff and everything.
So, but go ahead. Anyway, so
no, I mean, I have tons of the movie stuff. I've actually been putting up a bunch of the movie stuff so I can make room for the newer stuff, because I just, I still like them. And once we're going to move into a bigger place, I'll display them. But as right now, I want the newer stuff like the War for Cybertron to be displayed more than my movie stuff. The 13 Optimus Primes I got for Bayverse, I don't need all 13 of them out there.
I don't even need one.
Yeah. So I don't care about the. I mean, the designs are, they're not as good as what I grew up on, but I don't mind them. They're fine, But like I said, I have so many Bayverse Primes. It makes no damn sense. I don't know why. I mean, I went at a certain point in my collection where I got everything. If it said Transformers, I have a tote full of shampoo, Easter, Halloween, happy birthday stuff. Why the hell do I need that stuff? I don't know why, but everything, if it had Transformers, I bought it. And so, I don't know. It was just,
I know.
Anyway.
Like you have so much stuff to mess around with. And then I got to get this, I have to buy the Transformers stuff so that my kids could play with.
Oh yeah. Do they like the Cyberverse stuff? They're perfect for, I think.
No. Because my problem is that my 2-year-old is he's
okay, so he's
he's destructive. So if I get like I when I bought the Soundwave for the Bumblebee movie, I also bought the cassette pack that came with the one-step changer for Bumblebee.
Okay. Yeah.
And I gave that to my daughter. Well, my son got a hold of it, and we no longer have wheels for it, and no longer has arms. So we knew
you don't know where they're at, and no clue where they're at. Yeah.
So
boys too. I mean, you expect that.
I expect it. So, like my daughter, she loves to play with the Transformers stuff, but you know, it took some of the.
You ain't got no Bayverse stuff. Stop lying.
Right.
You know?
I don't. The only Bayformers Transformers toy that I own that I acquired, and I didn't purchase, is a Barricade, and his chest comes out with Frenzy.
Yeah, that was I know what you're talking about. I have that one. I have 5 Barricades that look the same. There's no difference.
And getting that back end to transform into car mode, is a. Every time I look at him in robot mode, every time I look at him in car mode, like the car mode, I'm fine with. The car mode's great. I'm like, this could turn into a great looking Transformer, and then it turns into this junk.
Yeah, he can scratch his toes without even bending over.
Yeah, it's such a weird, funky looking robot, and it just doesn't look right. And the way the head flips up just doesn't look right. This is well past 30 minutes.
I'm sorry, Extra. That's my boy right there. Now, what was I going to ask? Do you ever get stuff sent to you, like Bayverse stuff? Like, I got some people used to send me like knockoff stuff, because I don't collect knockoffs or anything like that. But people would send me knockoffs, and I got like the Crapagonics. I don't know if anybody watches my reviews, I always do a comparison with Crapagonics. He's the Omnigonics, the Sunstreaker, and I call him Crapagonics. But my buddy Robert D, who was on Shattercast with me, sent me like 6 of them because he wanted to be funny. And I had like 5 or 6 at one point. Do you ever get anything sent to you like you just don't like? Why did you send this to me or anything? Now you'll get a bunch of Bayverse stuff now sent to you. Just like people will send you just Bayverse stuff. Oh, you don't like Bayverse? Okay.
The same guy that just recently sent me I was thinking about doing a video for it, and then I just felt like it just wouldn't have come out right.
Yeah.
But he actually purchased for me the reissue for Combiner Wars Devastator.
Okay. Combiner. Okay.
Right. The same guy was cleaning out his basement, and he had a box full of broken Transformers.
Okay. And G1 stuff or just
all G1 stuff?
Okay.
But some of it is either broken or incomplete. So I have the what's it called? I have the clones.
Okay. The Autobot or the Decepticon?
Both.
Both. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I have both the original G1. The clones that were in that box. Crosshairs was in that box, but without the Target Master.
That's
very loose. Scorponok's body.
That's good.
Yeah.
Now the Headmaster. That can get expensive sometimes.
Just to look inside. Because I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh man, like a lot of stuff is kind of like you can tell it's been in the basement.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I opened it up, and I pulled, and inside was Mindwipe's head.
Oh, damn!
So it wasn't Scorpion, it wasn't Zarak.
Yeah.
But it matches because the head is black, so it works if you put it on top of Scorponok, and you go, okay, well I have a G1 Scorponok.
Kind of. And nobody knows. It doesn't matter. I mean, so the little Headmasters, like I said, with the Target Master Headmasters, the bodies were fine. You can find those on eBay for like $30, but there's that little Headmaster that usually costs a lot of money and everything, especially as Scorponok and everything. So.
And then there was like literally snapped and broken Ultra Magnus, the trailer peak part.
Yeah.
Was broken in the box. Skylynx is broken. A Jetfire is broken in there. A Grimlock with the actual piece to the hinge to his dino head.
Head, yeah.
It's
snapped off?
It's still there, but it's broken, so it's kind of like the plastic is loose.
Yeah.
So I might need to glue it in order to repair it.
Yeah.
But I already have a G1 Grimlock. I already have a G1 Ultra Magnus. I already have like a lot of them. But it's cool that it sent me the box.
Yeah.
This is kind of G1 stuff. And I was thinking about actually doing a video and just kind of like having my camera in hand and going like, here's all the stuff that I got.
Yeah.
And and then just tossing the garbage.
Yeah.
Because like you can't even reuse it for parts. Some of it you can't even reuse for parts.
Yeah.
Like if I could reuse the parts, I would use it. Oh, and a bunch of Micromasters were in there too.
Oh, that'd be cool. I don't have a ton of them. I got maybe a couple Micromasters. I've always thought about destroying something on camera just to see how many people would just give me hate about it. You could have given it away.
To recreate the arc landing. That's funny.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
there you go.
That's true.
Yeah. Happy to Siege and Earthrise Toys just wish retooled from alt mode form just to Mustang. I'm not sure what. Okay, they're having a conversation between each other.
Yeah, they're well, I guess nobody has any questions, so I guess
you know what is a lot of I think I've probably been on a lot of people's
Yeah, you've been on. I mean, I know. I definitely watched the Kato one. Was you ever with the Patriot Prime?
I was with Patriot Prime. I've been on H&E Games. He has his on there too.
Okay.
He did it 10 questions, and then
we just use people. We just throw people around like we're basically nerd whores. That's all we're doing. We're just tossing everybody around.
and I don't mind because I get it gives me an opportunity to have a nerdy conversation with a bunch of people.
Oh yeah, no, that's why I did. That's why I started. Like I said, I started this back in 2018, maybe 2000, and I'm doing a lot. I mean, I ran out of people. The people I knew, I ran out of people to interview, and I started, re-interviewing people that I did early when I started it, and it just, where they, basically, where are they at now or something like that. I've done Kato, a couple of times. I think I've done Extra Zero and everything, but that's the main reason why I started doing this, just to get, nerd talk and to get to people to know other people, other reviewers, just kind of get to know.
We're building a community. You think about it. Like, I mean, when it comes down to other Transformers YouTubers, from the amount of subscribers that I have, and this is not to make me look, but I'm probably the biggest of many of you.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And you are where I want to be at. I want to get up there. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I've been trying. But I love doing it.
I did get a couple guys, but no, yeah, like, and that's the thing. It's like I get it. Like I'm where a lot of people want to be, but I'm like,
yeah,
it's a lot of work.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And for the amount of subscribers that I have, I'm one of the few Transformers YouTubers that have gotten to this level that I'm willing to work with other people.
Yeah.
I see
you're not a snob. You're not a snob or anything like that.
Right. I've known, sometimes you see other YouTubers, and it's not just in the Transformers community, but other communities as well, that they have a large following and they don't work well with other people with large followings either. It's like don't have your wife film anymore.
Oh, he's talking about me. I did I just did a challenge where I went back and my second review I ever did, and I critiqued it. I did it live. I critiqued it, and I put out a challenge. If you want to go back to one of your older reviews and see how far you've come from, and that's what I kind of did like that. And my first 2 or 3 reviews, my wife filmed it. I don't know why I had her do it, but you can the camera just shaking and she's trying to follow everything. Like I do like a floor time is my big thing. And I was on the floor the whole time on this review, and she just tried to film everything, and it was cringy. It was really cringy. But I sent out a challenge to everybody to go back there and try to do that, which I'm really excited. I hope people do it and everything. But it's kind of fun to go back and see how far you come from the last 5 or 6 years that you've been doing and everything.
Just to answer some questions here. So,
Crimson
Raptors wants to know my thoughts on the War and Fall of Cybertron 2012 games. I've only played the single player campaigns. I've never played the multiplayer.
Yeah, me too.
I enjoyed the story. Now, what I liked about them was they were trying to establish a universe with the War and Fall for Cybertron. They were trying to be a little bit more G1-esque, but they were trying to establish the universe that would eventually be Transformers Prime.
Oh yeah, okay.
The writers for Transformers Prime behind the scenes wanted to do their own thing. What the Trypticon was supposed to be the nemesis, and like so when you fought Trypticon in the games, and he gets turned into the nemesis, basically, I think that was supposed to be in Transformers Prime, but the writers in Transformers Prime didn't want to do that. So there was a lot of butting heads with the Aligned continuity that made the Aligned continuity like a very rocky road.
I like the games. I loved them. Like the single player
games were fun though. They were fun, and I love the throwbacks because they were made by fans. I loved Transformers Devastation.
Yeah, it was fun.
I wish it was longer. You know,
a lot of
made a full-length War and Fall for Cybertron length game out of Transformers Devastation. So
it's kind of it was repetitive. It was a lot of a smashing button kind of thing game, but it was still fun. And then the nostalgia was kind of the music. I really liked the music to it. I think that went well with it and everything. So I like the other ones.
They asked the question about 6. So I kind of contact him every once. In other words, like I'll respond to his tweets and might respond to mine every once in a while. But other than that, like it's almost like we don't talk to each other, and it's not out of any other reason than probably the fact that we're across the pond. But if he was willing to work with me, I would work with him. No big deal. You know?
Same here. If I could have him on, I've never reached out to him. I maybe said to him. I don't know if I've ever watched his stuff, but I'll check him out if he ever wants to come on. I've had people overseas come on before, so I definitely love it. I mean, I'll have any. If anybody, like I tell everybody when I do these, if anybody wants to come on and do one of these things, just hit me up. We'll find time. Like I said, I knew when I asked RodimusPrimal to come on, I knew he's going to do it. And I always say, I'm going to work with your schedule. I like that. Every time I reach out to somebody, I'm like, whatever your time is good, that's what's going to be for me. I'll work it out and everything.
Yeah, so. We work around each other's schedules and just this way that because we all have our own personal lives, so it's
because I knew you had kids and everything. I was like, I don't want to take time from your family. Like I said, that's why I asked if you want to do it on the weekend or if you want to do it during the week. Yeah. Like I said, I'm flexible. I'm flexible. Especially night times, but I'm always available. Like I said, if anybody wants to ever come on, definitely hit me up and we'll make it happen. I've had everybody on. I've had reviewers on, and I've had regular just people that don't have anything to do. They just collect Transformers, and it's a good time. You get to know people and everything. So
yeah.
Does anybody got any other questions? If not, then I guess.
Still epics do an epic beard off.
Is it
this is as scruffy as I'm going to get. I'll admit.
Yeah, I need
as scruffy as I'm going to get. This is 60 hours of work on video, and I just did not feel like shaving.
Now I've reached out to you a couple of times. Me and him I've had him come on almost 2 or 3 times, and our schedule just got.
He's also across the pond too, right?
Right. So, yeah, it's hard to get people over there because they're 8 hours. I think Thu is about
5 hours ahead for me. I think it's 6 hours ahead for you.
Yeah. So
right. It's like it's almost 11 o'clock.
I've tried.
Right now it's close to 10 for you.
But this was Thu. I tried about 2 or 3 years ago. When I first started doing them, I reached out to him
But I've also heard that he. I don't know if he got into a fight with a friend of his, and then the two of them had an issue with each other. And
really?
I don't know the details. I
don't know. I haven't heard this before.
But there also could be that he doesn't want to work with other YouTubers just based upon his experience with someone. I have no idea, and it's only from what I've heard. I don't want to spread rumors, so I'm not going to say that this is it. I have no idea. I honestly don't. But I
don't know. Like I said, I reached out to him quite a few times. We talked back and forth and everything, and we had stuff set up, and then life happens. Yeah, and that's fine. I don't blame you or anything like that. I mean, I was just happy that he actually responded to me because I've reached out to bigger named reviewers. I'm not going to name them, but they didn't even respond back to me. They read it. They read my message, but they didn't respond. So I was like, okay, whatever, that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's it just some personalities just don't work together. And like I said,
that's fine. They want to do their own thing and let them be, and it's cool.
Exactly.
I I get compared a lot to another YouTuber, and
Okay.
but I do my own thing. So I have no
Yeah.
issue with anybody really. I really
I
don't.
think,
I don't.
and I think that's what's gonna. I mean, you have to. With like you said, with so many reviewers now, you have to stand out with something different. Like you said that. When I asked you what got you started and everything, you mentioned that you wanted to do something that was different than what everybody else is doing because a dime a dozen. The reviewers are a dime a dozen now because everybody's doing it. And that's fine. I wish the best for everybody, but you have to do. That's why I do the floor time because nobody's getting their, pardon my French, but I'm getting my fat ass down on the floor. Nobody's doing that.
Yeah.
Nobody's going on the floor and doing that. So that's what I do, and I like doing it. It's getting harder every day because I'm old now, and it hurts to get down on the floor all the time and try to get back up. But I still love doing it and everything. So that's why I do the floor time just to kind of stand out from everybody else and everything. So I don't know. Oh heck yeah, PPR, yeah, definitely, dude. I met this guy at TFCon 2 years ago. He's dude. This guy's stand up. His channel's blown up, and it's awesome and everything. But I would hopefully would get to meet again.
Speaking of TFCon,
Are you going to Baltimore?
I am planning on going to the one in Baltimore. I've already booked the hotel.
Me too. Me too.
I do plan on going to TFCon in Baltimore.
Yeah, October, end of October. Yeah. I'm hoping. I think by that time, I think everybody's been vaccinated. Now I'm waiting for the vaccine because I had COVID for 3 weeks and it was terrible. And I want to get the vaccination. I don't care. I don't want to have it again. But I'm hoping we have TFCon because we didn't have it last year. I've been to every TFCon in the States, and it's great. I love it. It's a fun time, and I love going up to the Northeast and everything. So I'm excited to. Hopefully they'll have it.
If it happens, I will be going to RetroCon in Pennsylvania later this year.
Okay. Nice.
I love that convention.
When is that usually? That's in the summer,
September,
isn't it?
Usually.
Oh, is it September? Okay.
Yeah. Rose and Tony are just awesome. Number one. I love the smaller convention in the fact that it's a smaller, like nerdy based convention, and it's everything. It's a smorgasbord of stuff.
Yeah. I can say it's a bunch. It's not Transformers. It's everything, right? It's like everything that you can think of.
It's retro stuff, but a lot of people that end up going are like a lot of the Transformers, He-Man, G.I. Joe stuff. Like I ended up meeting Sergeant Slaughter. I met Hacksaw Jim Duggan there. I met.
That'd be cool.
They were just cool people. Like my dad was just floored by Hacksaw Jim Duggan. It was cool, and the guy who played Buck Rogers.
Oh, okay.
Was there, and the guy who was BD, in Buck Rogers, was really short. RetroCon is great. I love RetroCon.
When I was talking earlier about Realm of Collectors, this my boy Brian Brink, he's a great dude. He's on Realm of Collector. He's on Enter the Realm. They're heavily there. They're like I said, the New Jersey thing. They're always there. Yep. RetroCon, anything up the Northeast, all that stuff.
Joe Gerard,
they're always up in there and everything. So. Like I said, TFCon, I have such a wonderful time. It goes by so quick. Have you ever been to any TFCons in the States?
I've never been to TFCon. I was actually planning on going to the one in Orlando.
Oh, yeah. They got canceled. Yeah. Last year.
I would have loved to have gone to the one in LA, but that would have been an airplane ride to California.
That's a trip. I've been to 2 BotCons out there to Pasadena, 2009 and 2011, I think was. I went out to there.
California. I'll admit that. I've never been to California.
It was all right. That's the only time I've been, and it was fun. Pasadena's nice. But now the area where BotCon was beautiful. It was a nice area, a lot of places, a lot of restaurants and everything. I'm surprised you didn't go to the Reston TFCon. That's in Virginia. I'm surprised you didn't. They had 2 of those and everything. Yeah,
it was timing. I think it was timing. I think we were already going somewhere. And we ended up not doing what's it called? We ended up not going to that, and then I also because I went to too many games at the same convention hall. 1 year, and ended up meeting like a bunch of the video game YouTubers there.
Okay, yeah,
and became friendly with a lot of them too.
Nice.
And while I was there, I was talking to, I mean, obviously the Angry Video Game Nerd and, Pat the NES Punk, which, and then, but the Game Chasers, I ended up finding out that do you know who the Game Chasers are? Or?
No, I do not.
One of them actually follows my channel because they're the Toy Chasers, because they also do Toy Chaser episodes.
Oh, they do. Oh, okay.
Right. So like they'll go to flea markets and they'll find toys in Texas and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool.
Okay.
Neat. But they were there, and then I was watching a live stream as I was like typing a script because one of the Game Chasers is like, dude, I gotta make you a guest at Retropalooza, but it's the same weekend as TFCon this year.
Oh, golly. Well,
you got to come out to Texas, and I'm like, I'd love to come out to Texas, but
Texas is nice.
Can I afford to go to Texas? I can drive to Baltimore, right? Yeah. I live in Jersey.
Where's it at in Texas?
I don't know.
I love Texas. I mean, I love Texas, but I'm a big football fan, and I'm a big Washington football team. They were called the Redskins. Now they're called the Washington football team. I hate the Cowboys, but I love Texas because I was stationed in Texas. So I got to go see San Antonio, Austin. I saw a lot of Austin and everything. So Texas is really nice, but I hate Texas also because I hate the Cowboys. And Dallas is nice too. It's a nice area. Me and my wife went down to Dallas to watch a game and everything. But they have tons. I've never been to a Comic-Con, like a big Comic, like, Dallas Comic-Con or San Diego Comic-Con. Have you ever been to like New York Comic-Con or anything like that?
Multiple times.
Nice.
Oh, I was actually going to go to New York Comic-Con again this past year too.
Yeah.
Or the Javits Center became a place to use. For, for emergencies. So yeah. I have doubts that I'll end up that New York Comic-Con will even happen this year.
When's they usually have New York Comic-Con?
What's that?
When is usually New York Comic-Con? October.
But I have doubts. I have doubts that October will be.
I have doubts that they'll do TFCon too. I don't know. I hope they do.
Because the big thing, because what I'm going to hate having to do, and I hope by September, October, we don't have to do this, is everybody's going to have to wear a mask.
Yeah, it gets sweaty and hot.
Walk around a floor wearing a mask for 8 hours, trying to talk to people, and then we stay 6 feet apart. It's like, come on, we're going to a convention.
Yeah. You don't have to smell the sweaty big guys. So that's a good. I don't know, but I'm hoping they have TFCon because, like I said, I missed it. I was going to go last year, but yeah, definitely going to go to Baltimore, and it's a great time. Like it's fun. We'll definitely have to get together. I think I don't know if Cato's going. He usually has his job has to interfere with that, but I told him to quit so he can go to TFCon.
Personally speaking, and this is from me to you, Cato. Honestly, keep your job because I know why you do what you do, and I want to keep doing what you do because I'm proud of what you do. And I'm just gonna say that because.
I told him to quit every day, so whatever. It's fine. No, but I'd love to be Cato. Like I said, I don't know if Patriot Prime's going to go. He said he's going to try.
Patriot just has to just get off his keister and just get both of them need to get up their keister and
that's true. And I want Inutabi. I want Larkin's Lair to fly from Hawaii.
That would be awesome. Can you imagine of all of us in a room together and just.
It'd be fun, dude.
That would be awesome.
That's what it's about.
The only problem is that you're gonna have to put some duct tape on my mouth after a certain point.
Nah, you'll be all right. Last time I was in text-based training, I did basic in Kentucky. I did mine at Fort Knox. But me and Patriots talked about that. He was and everything. But like I said, I was stationed at Fort Hood for 2 years and everything. But yeah, it's fun. Get together.
Down on the smelling, unwashed nerds.
Yes. It does.
Hey,
it does.
I shower daily. even if I don't shave, I still shower.
Yeah. Well, this is over. Yeah, 30 minutes. Dude, I had a great time, man. Thank you so much, man. It was an honor to have you on and everything. I had to send you a friend request too on Facebook. I forgot to send you one, but what do you have coming up? Do you have any, if you want to talk about, do you have anything coming up, like another retrospective? Are you working on anything like that? Or
I have. I did a live stream recently with Cato on my channel, and we were talking about my future videos and how I had like 40 like what's it called like folders on my computer.
Yeah. Folder. Yeah.
Videos to make. So I don't. It's not a lack of content. It's being able to type it, make it, figuring out what's the best one to work on next.
Yeah.
And how quickly I can get that content out to everyone. So I work hard on those. The news videos are going to come out whenever new Transformers news comes out, and if I have to make a follow up to it, which I think I might have to. Which actually I should tell just before we close up. Let me just like the Super 7 thing. I don't know if you heard about like I talked about my Super 7 like in my news video. I was like Super 7. These toys are like $54, and they don't look very posable, right?
Oh, they're action masters. Yeah.
Right, but they're actually more posable than they appear. And Super 7, Brian Flynn actually, like, I think he actually responded as a pseudonym on my channel.
Nice.
And then made a video on Instagram as if, like, but all the points that he made in the comment, like that comment made, like it seemed like it was somebody else that he made in a video on Instagram. And I'm like, are you the same guy?
Now, are they as articulated as the red line?
They're as articulated as have you seen the Super 7 Ultimates Voltron?
I have not. I don't think so. I may have skimmed through it. I don't know if I've seen it.
It's actually a lot more posable than it appears, but it's not as posable as, let's say, the red line.
Okay, so it's kind of limited.
It is limited in the design because they're trying to keep the look of the robot. Sideswipe is definitely on my list. I know that's going to be a big one. Sideswipe, big name characters like Sideswipe, Prowl, like they have
Ironhide, Ratchet.
Right. Well, I mean, I did a where are their heads?
You did.
Ironhide and Ratchet, so I can always return to a retrospective and just try to shorten what I need to talk about with their heads to a sentence and say, "Go watch that video."
Yeah.
Right, kind of thing. And but I almost have to like, what's it called? Like I like for there are bigger characters I know would take longer to make, and there are characters that are shorter that I can make quick videos on. And then there are times when all of a sudden I find something creative of a character who has almost nothing for a backstory, like Run Amok and Runabout. And then there's this incredible, fun intro with Patriot Prime doing the Beavis.
Well, I saw recently. I don't know. This was recently. This is probably a year or something ago. You did one on Hauler.
I did Grapple, and Hauler.
I thought you did.
Hauler was part of it because Hauler was supposed.
I thought you just did Hauler,
supposed to be Hauler, and then ended up being Grapple.
Yeah.
And I also talked about Hauler in my Origin of the Constructicons, which was
okay. That's what I saw. Okay.
Right.
I thought I saw one that had Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because the order that if you actually go on into my playlist and watch the Transformers retrospectives and discussions, video playlist, which is now 61, I think, videos. Nice. The order that they're in is the order that they came out in.
Okay. Nice.
But if you look at the dates of publishing, it may not be because I went and remastered an older one.
Oh, okay. So you just took over the
Cyclonus I've redone a couple of times.
Yeah, okay. So you basically just took over the file.
Remastered to make it better.
Right. Gotcha.
Another one that I redid was Origin of the Constructicons, and Rumble and Frenzy were two that I redid. But like Sideswipe, like just to answer like the question there, like a Sideswipe, Prowl, are two big ones that I know that I want to do. Grimlock is one that I want to do.
Oh, that'll be a long one too.
I would love to talk about the different masters, basically the 87 through 90. Why did G1 the cartoon end? Why did G1 end, and then Generation 2 would be an interesting topic, I think, of discussion. Talk about let's see, how does the aligned continuity work?
Yeah,
Might be
that's good.
one. That one might be an easier one to do because then I can just focus in on the stuff. But here's the thing: like what you're hearing me doing right now is when I brainstorm, like I go through like half of my stuff and I just like, okay, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. Let's do this. Like that's what I ended up doing. I take all of the ideas that I listen to everybody's comments. I'll spend half an hour reading people's comments.
Yeah, I read everybody's comments. I don't have as many as yours, but I read everybody's comments.
Like I'll read everyone's comments, and it's just like, okay, well, everyone keeps asking me to do this one. You know, Skywarp is one that, like, you know, I'd love to go back and do Skywarp and Cyclonus, or you know, do Cyclonus as an actual retrospective, but also do. So like, okay, I'm done. You guys can stop. I know I could keep going. You see, here's the thing.
Quit telling me what to do, PPR.
Yeah, I know, because you see what I mean. Like I'm too, like I can keep going.
Yeah, no, I'm listening to. I had a great time, man.
So
anybody else have you?
I think 5 minutes ago, I think you were getting ready to wrap.
No, I'm listening. I'm like I said, I had to, now. Have you done one over the Headmasters or anybody or Tiger Masters? I'd have to go back a little bit.
I did Power Master Optimus Prime.
Power Master, okay.
And slash God Jinrai, and I did that on purpose because it was Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
And I knew that would be a one that people would watch, but it also gave me an opportunity to talk about Power Masters as a whole. So,
yeah. Okay. I think it'd be a good. That would be a long one unless you want to do it individually character. But if you did like a whole thing over the Headmasters and Target Masters, that might put in some work right there as well too.
I can talk about the concept, more about the concept itself.
Okay, instead of the individual characters and everything.
Right, and just kind of like give a brief sentence about who each character is.
Right. A broad spectrum or a broader thing. Instead of just talking about character, you would do it all as a whole.
Overview about the concept, and then how
this is mind wipe. Yeah.
Into something else.
Okay.
You know,
I've always wanted to do something different like that. I don't want to do what you're doing, but I want to do something like I did today. I put out a video. You know, where does Hasbro go from here? You know, what is the future for Hasbro? I would like to do some of that stuff like that, you know, just to talk about stuff instead of just doing regular reviews and everything. So great stream, but I got to go to bed. Later, Patriot Bronze. Thank you so much for stopping by.
He's going to get mega early. So, like, this is 11 o'clock for him.
I was snowed in, so I haven't been to work all week. I've had like 15 inches of snow, so.
We just got hit. In fact, they didn't even plow the streets until like 3 or 4 hours ago. It was like so much snow.
Curtis, it is 10 o'clock right now. It's not 111:10. Been here. No, I'm in Arkansas, so I'm Central Standard Time. So everything, but we've been on this. So once again, thank you so much for doing this. I mean, you're welcome back on anytime you want to. I would love to do this, you know, or if you want to do a live thing together. I do a live thing with Kato all the time, just like you do. I guess we use Kato too. He's kind of like our little whore too, I guess. So, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, it is. I think it is like when you're talking to somebody that like for me, when I end up talking to someone that I don't know and I get along with them very well, we end up talking longer than expected. Because we're not so structured, and also because it's like it builds better rapport. And then if we do a later live stream another time, it ends up being much shorter, you know, because we can actually keep it short.
Yeah, exactly. Because this is the first time. I think this is the first time I've talked to you. You know, we've chit chatted in chat room, but I've never talked to you like live. Like, you know, I don't think I've ever. You know, we've had a live stream or anything like that together. So this is the first time kind of get to talk to anything. But once again, thank you so much for coming on and everything. I want to thank everybody for coming in. I know everybody's probably already subbed to RodimusPrimal. If you haven't, go sub to his stuff. I'm gonna put his stuff, his link, or all his stuff in my description when we get off and everything. So, I guess I'll see everybody on the next around 30. Like I said, if you want to come on, just hit me up and we'll definitely do that. So take care and have a wonderful rest of your day and Hail Hasbro and all that wonderful stuff.
Until next time, till all are one.
There you go. All right, now you got to do the awkward